Welcome to Talk with the Nation, presented by the Premier, the Honorable McKeeva Bush. Join the Premier and other special guests as we look at all things Cayman, both present and future. This is Talk with the Nation. Here is Donna Bush.
Good evening, Cayman, and thanks to our listeners for joining us here on Talk with the Nation here on Vibe 98.9. This evening, Premier the Honorable McKeeva Bush will be here with us to discuss his recent business travels to Greenland and Asia. Also joining us is the Managing Director of the Cayman Turtle Farm, Mr. Tim Adams, and Turtle Farm Board Chairman, Mr. Ken Hydes. We'll be talking to both of these gentlemen about the attacks on the operations of the Turtle Farm by the World Society for the Protection of Animals, or the WSPA, this evening. If you're just tuning in to Talk with the Nation this evening, you can give us a call later in the show when we open the phone lines. That number to call, 946-9898. You can also join us on Facebook /Talk with the Nation, or tweet us if you're on Twitter at TWTNKY. Mr. Adam, Mr. Hydes, thanks so much for being here with us on Talk with the Nation. We were glad that you could join us to talk about this very important issue that's happening with our major attraction, the Cayman Turtle Farm. Now, for those who may not know and who are listening, the Cayman Turtle Farm has been operating for 40 years, and it's the world's only sea turtle farming and conservation entity. Now, when we talk about the World Society for Protection of Animals, or WSPA, who are these folks, and what is their purpose?
Well, the World Society for the Protection of Animals, WSPA, is an organization. It bills itself as concerned with animal welfare, and it mounts extensive media and fundraising campaigns in various parts of the world. Mm-hmm. And one aspect of what it does is to shut down commercial farming operations of certain species.
Okay.
So it's an international organization, but it has chapters in the United Kingdom, USA, Canada, Australia, places like that. Okay. And it's a UK chapter that we've been in touch with,
right,
on this, and is taking the lead in the campaign against Cayman Turtle Farm.
So exactly, to explain to our listeners out there, what are the allegations that were made against the Cayman Turtle Farm by the WSPA?
Well, the WSPA is making a number of allegations against Cayman Turtle Farm. The primary position is that commercial farming of a species like turtles, by its very nature, is cruel, and it's harmful to sea turtles and indeed, a variety of animals. So the goal of the organization is to shut down commercial farming, as they do not believe in it, and they think it's inhumane. They just think it's wrong. So that's the general position they're coming from.
Okay. Now, once the allegations were made, obviously the Turtle Farm team would want to respond, and the Cayman Islands government would want to respond. What was the response once the allegations were made? Well,
once we became aware of the allegations, we immediately called in an outside expert and enlisted his help to take a look at reviewing the turtle population at Cayman Turtle Farm, because some of the accusations were various, a whole host of different diseases, but more so injuries and genetic defects, major injuries and genetic defects.
Right.
And that's what WSPA was alleging. So we called in this expert to conduct a review, to take a look at our turtle population, determine if indeed there were these severe injuries and defects and so on that the WSPA is alleging is present within the herd.
Okay. Now, of course, the public just started hearing about the WSPA allegations several weeks ago, very recently. But when did all of this start to transpire for the Turtle Farm, Mr. Hydes?
This started to transpire in sort of July. We had a meeting actually here in Grand Cayman with the representatives of the WSPA, and there was a sequence of discussions that were had, and there were a number of sort of commitments that were made. From our perspective, apart from what Mr. Adam has already said, that we immediately asked someone to come in and take a look. One of the primary things that we felt was of significant importance was to have a total review of the operation of the turtle farm that sort of covers all of these various aspects, defects, animal welfare, the sort of human interaction, and that aspect of our review should get underway in December. We will, the team will consist of a number of international experts on sea turtles and sea turtle conservation. So that's something that we're really, that's something that we have geared up for, and very much we feel that is the sort of measure to, by which we should be judged, as opposed to, just basing everything on this report. I've said before that, the report and the campaign from WSPA, look, whenever someone comes and offers sort of a critical view of your operation, it is actually important that you actually, don't just dismiss it, but you actually take a critical look at it and see what in reality can be gained from it.
Right.
And be able to take it, take steps to address it. So we've certainly not been, we certainly haven't dismissed or, sort of, not without respect or for the WS, PA's some of their comments and efforts, but the wholehearted sort of report is certainly misleading. There's areas of the report that are totally inaccurate, and we certainly feel that they have done us a sort of great disservice, and the general public a great disservice by this campaign.
Right. Well, some people would describe that as a smear campaign. We're going to stick a pin there, and we're going to take a break now and talk with the nation. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Premier McKeeva Bush is in the studio with us. We're going to talk about his recent travels, and then talk to further our conversation with Mr. Tim Adams and Mr. Ken Hydes here on Talk with the Nation, right here on Vibe 98.9.
All things Cayman, present and future. This is Talk with the Nation with Donna Bush on Vibe FM, presented by the Premier, the Honorable McKeeva Bush.
And welcome back to Talk with the Nation. If you're just joining us, you can give us a call at 946-9898. This evening in the studio with us, we have the Honorable Premier, Mr. McKeeva Bush, as well as the Managing Director of the Cayman Turtle Farm, Mr. Tim Adams, and Turtle Farm Board Chairman, Mr. Ken Hydes. We're talking about various things today on Talk with the Nation. Before we went to the break, we were talking about allegations that have been made against the Cayman Turtle Farm by the World Society for the Protection of Animals organizations based in the United Kingdom. We're going to divert from that conversation a little bit and go over to Premier, the Honorable McKeeva Bush, now to discuss his recent business travels abroad to Greenland and Asia. Premier Bush, thank you so much for being here with us in the studio this evening. I know you're a very busy man, so we will get right into talking about the happenings on your recent trips.
Well, before we do that, though, I just want to say that I welcome Cayman Turtle Farm Board and Chief Officer here.
Yes, sir.
And to say that, government is certainly standing behind Cayman Turtle Farm in this particular matter of the issue with Whisper. But and I think that they are addressing it appropriately. I think the Cayman public recognizes international people sometimes go off half-cocked, not knowing the full issues, of course having their own agenda, and therefore they don't know all the issues, and then that coupled with people locally who's willing to sabotage and say the worst rather than to look at the positives, and in the instance of the turtle farm, the many gains and the good that it has been to this country in the last 40-odd years. And I can say in recent times that they have done a tremendous job in giving this country a good tourism product.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. Yes, we've spent a lot of money, and it's not making the money that we had hoped, simply because it's not getting the tourists. And while I see the people at Compass, of course, likes to publicize the worst, seems like they have to do that because it's the nature of those people to do that.
they don't publish the real stories. You know, they publish what they want to make it look their way, to fit their story. But the reason why Turtle Farm is not making the money is because they don't have the dock that we built it on the basis of it was going to have a dock and to collect the tourists there. If we had a dock there, we would be getting the 400,000 tourists that we envision, and that the private sector. Because one thing, you know, it's easy to criticize anything, and it's easy to criticize Cayman Turtle Farm. Let's say who's the issue at the time.
Right.
But the fact is, you know, they didn't just go and build this willy-nilly. A lot of work was done by the private sector to push the government and push Cayman Turtle Farm into this development.
Right.
We didn't move ahead just willy-nilly. The tourism industry, in fact, is who pushed us into this to get another real attraction. Of course, government wanted to move after it got mashed up on the seaside. But the whole redevelopment into the real tourist attraction that it is was pushed by the private sector. I raise these things because, you know, I think it was yesterday we had a front page by the Compass about it. But they only tells half the story or piece the story. They're talking about the financing and everything else, and talk about the troubles we've had with that, and that people, you know, quarrel about it. But people quarrel about everything. But that doesn't mean that what has been done was done wrong. Not because somebody says wrong, that's a fact.
Right.
And particularly people that didn't know nothing about it, they shouldn't write about it if they don't know about it, and that they haven't gone and inquired of people who are involved. They would rather pick up something that some foreign person in another country say for their own benefit, mind you, against the turtle farm. They would rather, Compass rather print that than to sit down and talk with these people and say, Mr. Hydes, how this happened? Where is the expenditure? What's all about?
Right.
How much did the turtle farm cut recently? How much the staff has been cut? You know, much more than anybody else, any other government company, much more than the civil service itself.
Wow.
So you know, people ought to sit down and look at the facts before they write stories. But the attitude that I see in the country today by so-called journalists is that, you know, they seem to be pick a little piece up and then write and blow it out of proportion, making mountains out of molehills. Anyway, government stands behind Turtle Farm.
Right. Certainly our aim here on Talk with the Nation, and this is the purpose that why you began this program in the first place, is to get positive messages out there about government and the different companies and entities that are owned by government and supported by government. And we hope at the end of the day that people are made more aware and are certainly educated on all the good things that are happening.
That's the reason why we are here on this kind of program.
Right.
That's the reason why that I have to start the television program, because government is doing a tremendous job. Not just this one, other governments has too. But you got newspapers and news, internet, that is completely giving this country continuous black eyes with half-cocked stories, lies sometime, and all the good things that the schools are doing, all the good things that the various departments of government are doing, not getting any publicity at all.
Right.
We're educating 100 and something students that would not normally get a chance. And what they pitch on? Oh, you're giving church money. They haven't picked up the piece. They don't seem to want to support the churches. Well, that's their business if they don't want to. Government business is the churches that were partner. But if they don't like that, why you can't say, but on the other hand, they're giving all these scholarships and allowing young people to get a decent chance in life. Why they can't say that? So government have to do something in this environment, particularly when you got bias and politicians on on radio shows and newspapers who were just doing things to sell and out of pure hatred, because that's what it seems like to me and other people. If you can't print the truth, I'm sorry, then you won't tell a lie, obviously. So yes, we have to, although they criticize the starting of the television station, they've criticized that I've gone on this program. We have to do it because the positive things of government are not getting out. So, and getting to that is, the fact is that in any free world today, and in a country today, leaders don't lead by sitting down in a building, in an office. That's not the only leadership. And in particular, my leadership style is, with my responsibilities, if I didn't have one, it would be a different thing. But I have tourism, I have commerce and finance and investment. I have to go out and promote Cayman.
On international affairs.
On the international arena. Nobody else is doing it. We have to do it. That's the responsibilities that I have. And I like to believe that we are going to the right places. I was in the East, yes. It was a longer one because one meeting, you know, if I had, it would have cost more for me to go and come back. So I'd rather stay, which was not at all government cost, by the way. And I know FOI has already come in about it, but they got a surprise. One of the visits didn't cost government anything.
Right.
At all. But we have to promote. And so, firstly, we was invited by the Exchequer to be in London, be in Tokyo, in regards to the Commonwealth Finance Ministers meeting and the IMF and World Bank.
Right.
But we don't deal with them, although the IMF does evaluate Cayman's
and grade us.
So our financial services and our regulatory regimes. So it behoves us, and certainly myself, who has to make the laws.
Right.
While civil servants can go to these things, they don't make the laws. I have to make the law.
Right.
And so I have to listen to what they're saying and what they want. And so we were invited to Tokyo. The big thing on that was the Commonwealth Finance Ministers meeting, and the matter, as I was explaining the other day, that we met with the Chancellor of the Exchequer in regards to a article in the agreement that the UK has with the European Union, which they're asking us to change. We are governed by what we call the Overseas Association Decision. That is a document that sits with the European Union, and one that the United Kingdom is bound by. In the United Kingdom being bound by it, her territories are bound by it
as well.
And so the Cayman Islands have to be constantly on their alert for whatever the European Union is going to do, because sometimes in the past they've gotten away with things because the UK was not vigilant on the part of the Cayman Islands protection. So this particular change would have been a serious, and it is a serious matter for our financial services, because they're asking us to promote convergence to European Union legislation on financial services legislation. So all our laws would be changed to European, and they would destroy our financial services.
Okay, we want to talk a little bit more about the repercussions, but we do have a call right now, Mr. Premier, if we could take that call. Thank you for calling Talk with the Nation.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Ms. Donna, and to the Honorable Premier.
Good afternoon.
First, it's a great pleasure to hear Mr. Bush on the radio, and I think he is the only solution for this country, because we tried the previous government and they fail to deliver anything, no projects, no help in the poor. They put us in a financial mess, and I just always say that for now we don't have any solution. Only Mr. Bush and his government, they are the one trying to stabilize this economy. Unfortunately, the opposition trying to stop the projects which Mr. Bush working hard day and night to put off the ground and to try make it working for the betterment of the people of this country. And always I support his effort also for the turtle farm. I think the turtle farm is part of the culture and the heritage, and the history is a history by itself for Cayman. And I think the effort to protect that national project as a turtle farm, I think we need all to stand together, no matter what party we support or what side of the political party we are in. This is a national matter. We are fighting the whole world, against the whole world, to keep very part important in this country. And I think we stand in firm with Mr. Bush in all his effort to build this country, and we just say God bless you, Mr. Bush, and God bless your family, and keep you always for this country, the protector and the one who fight always in the international arena for the betterment of the people of this country. And for regarding those, always in the media they trying to speak about that Mr. Bush travel. Mr. Bush travel for the business. He is carrying 3 ministries, and he is the premier of this country. So if he is don't travel, who will travel then? We will let anyone else to travel and do the business of the country, and he is not elected, or those people who go on the radio and criticize Mr. Bush for anything he do, whatever it is, they just do that, criticize out of hate, and they fill up of hate, and the hate someday, it will destroy themselves. We need to stand with Mr. Bush for his effort to do the right thing for this country, and we just say God bless you, Mr. Bush, and all the support all the while, and keep up the good work. Thank you, sir.
Caller, thank you for calling. Mr. Bush, would you like to respond to the caller there?
No, I think he was very clear and lucid in what he was saying.
Okay.
I certainly appreciate the call. He's absolutely right. Like I said, you can't, having 3 ministries the size that I have, and the areas that they cover, you can't conduct business. I do send people off to various things, right? Because I can't be at everything, right. But there are matters that I have to address as the minister, right?
Before we went to the call, you were talking about the repercussions of not attending some of these meetings.
Well, yeah, well. The one thing that comes back to me is the savings directive. They claimed that we wasn't there at the meeting, and so that came on, got grouped along with other people on this. And so they were pushing us hard, and what we had to do, we had to take them to court. We took the UK to court, right, and proved that they couldn't push us into this, not by an order in council or any other way. We had to take our time, and by me opposing, we finally got the things that we wanted. Because I opposed it, it wasn't rammed down our throat in the first order that they had it in. We had to do something, but came on, we could say to them, you want us to do things, we want something out of it. Right. And that's how our we got recognition for our stock exchange, because I said, you want this, well, we want this, and we say, UK, you need to help us with it. Right. We became part of IOSCO because which was an important body for us. We became part of that. That was another thing we put to them. But if we had been at that meeting, right? If we had been at that meeting, that would not have happened to us. So we